Are you doing tonight? How are you doing tonight? Let me know how you're doing tonight. Please put a one in the chat box. I'd like to hear how you're doing tonight. Put a one in the chat box if you're feeling all right. And a two in the chat box if you, okay, joining Coach Kira Live. Okay. I can see people joining in. Thank you so much for joining us again tonight. As you know, if you're a community member, congratulations. This is another opportunity for you to catch up with what we have done on the first 7 days of the month. As you know, that the first 7 days of the month, we master new habits. And why do we do that? Why do we master new habit? Because change is the only thing that can bring the result that we want. If we want new results, if we want new opportunities, if we want new things to happen for us, we have to. Oh, thank you, Adekunle Adetunji. I can see that your comments are coming in. Thank you for that. Change is the only thing that can, bring us new results. We cannot be doing the same thing and be expecting a new result. I'm sure you've heard that before. So I welcome you to the masterclass tonight, and I do hope that you are ready. Please put a one in the chat box if you are ready. I want to see it ready. Please put ready in the chat box if you are very ready for tonight's masterclass. Yeah, the masterclass tonight is going to be taking on from where we last stopped. We last stopped talking about mastering healthy eating habits for the month of April. And then I thought, it'd be nice if we are able to talk about these topics that we've mastered, these habits that we've mastered. It'd be nice if we can, actually now bring it into a masterclass. People can ask their questions, and then we're able to go right down and nail it as to what we need to do carrying on. As you know, mastering habits can be very tedious. Change can be overwhelming, if I'm being honest. However, if you look at the intention behind the change you are making, if you look at what you have to earn, if you look at the benefits, the importance, the impact of when you make a change and what's going to happen for you, I think that will be a big drive for you to be able to go through that change. Right. So now we're talking about top secrets for sustaining business success through healthy eating. Right. Through healthy eating. And I want you to put in the chat box how you've been mastering healthy eating. Have you been committing to that? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you say you've been, committing to mastering healthy eating? I'm asking this question just so we know where we are on the ladder of growth, and we would know how much work we need to implement to get us to where we want to be. So just put in the chat box on a scale of 1 to 10, how you think you have been mastering healthy eating. I like to hear that. I can't see a comment yet. Yeah. Please put in the chat box. I'd like to hear how you've been mastering, healthy eating. On a scale of 1 to 10, would you say you're a 5? Would you say you're a 2? Would you say you are a 3? How would you rate yourself? So you know that the very first 10 minutes is a mini intro of what we're going to be talking about, after which, of course, I will then introduce myself. I am Shakira Okiwole, personal growth coach at A Better Me. Of course, where we help people build resilient mindsets so that you can become a higher performer and you can, start or scale your business. And indeed, some people don't have businesses that they are into at the moment. They want to start a business, but they don't know how to start. We are also here for you to help you start a business. On another part of it, we've seen people who are trying to scale the business that they've started, but they don't know how to. We're also in the business of helping you see the blind spot and see what needs changing in terms of your strategies or any pillar of business that is not yet well erected, that you need to erect finally. All right, so thank you so much for joining the masterclass tonight. So now we're going to be talking about fundamentals of healthy eating. And some of these things will talk to us about the principles, the benefits, the importance, the strategies. How can we really implement it? How can we make it easy? Like I mentioned, change can be overwhelming, but how can we enjoy the change? Those are some of the things we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to also be talking about stress management. As entrepreneurs, as business owners, that stress can come along with, it's second nature to entrepreneurship. If you're not really careful, entrepreneurship can really be daunting, right? I've been in a place sometimes on the journey of entrepreneurship where I burnt out. I burnt out for so many reasons. I burnt out because I couldn't manage the stress. I burnt out because I didn't even know what was going on with my body, right? I didn't have the right information. And so I burnt out. So I don't want that for you. And that's why we do these master classes every month, so that we can look at what we need to change in our personal and our business life. And the moment that we begin to implement all of these changes, we begin to see the results we want to see in our lives, right? I got talking to somebody earlier today, and the person was telling me about how she's tried this business and she's tried that business, and she's just not seeing the result that she wants to see in the business. And she said to me, "Oh, I think I want to sell my car and start another business." And I'm like, you know what? Slow down right there. Sometimes it's not about trying different businesses. Slow down right there. Sometimes it's about looking at what's not working in the business that needs changing. Right? Sometimes it could be our habits. Sometimes it could be the mindsets that we have. Maybe we need to be more resilient in mind. Maybe we need people in our community that can help us push, or that we can talk to, or that can, support us. Let's sit down and see what needs changing in that business. And, we go on talking, we looked at it, and the business is such a beautiful business that can thrive, that can even 10x the income in about 1 or 2 years, if she follows the plan that was, later laid down for her today in our strategy room. Right? I'm saying this just to let us know that stress can come with entrepreneurship, that we want to give up. So how do we also manage the stress? Research has also proven that healthy eating, our eating habits, can affect the way that we also build stress on the journey of entrepreneurship. If you can still hear me, please write one in the chat box. Just curious to know that you can hear me, right? I want to see your chat. I'm curious to read your chat. If you can still hear me, please put one in the chat box, just so I know that you can still hear me. All right. So, like I said, one of the two principles that I want you, the two major principles rather, that I want you to take away from tonight. If you have your pen and journal, please take that down. If you have your pen and journal, please take that down. I want to take down this principle tonight. Number one principle is, of course, you might have heard that before, but I want you to hear it again, or hear it with a different state of mind tonight. That your greatest wealth, the greatest wealth that you can have, is your health. The greatest wealth you can have is your health. Yes, money is good. Yes, properties are great. Yes, good people is good. I mean, it's good to have great people around us. But consider this. Your greatest wealth is your health. Today, I lost somebody. I'm not saying this for pity, to be in victim mode, but I'm saying this, that I lost somebody quite young, and it's sad because when health is missing, there is nothing we really can do. There's not much wealth we really can build when health is missing. So I want to guard it jealously. When we have it, we really don't know. We really might not value it as much. It seems like a normal thing, but I can't overemphasize. Even myself, I've been in a point in my life where it's been so rough in terms of my health. I felt like I was going to give up when I burnt out. And I had general anxiety disorder, which I will still talk about in the chat box in the room tonight. Second thing, like I said, the first one is that your greatest wealth is your health. And the second one seems really generic, and you must have heard that before, that your health is your wealth and your wealth is your life, right? There's a link between the health, the wealth, and the life. Those are the first set of principles I want you to take away from tonight. Second principle that I would like you to take away from mastering healthy eating. Oh, thank you, Adekunle. Yeah, the greatest wealth is my health. That's it. It's when you're healthy that you can take away, that you can begin to think of, what can I do? How can I make money? Should I try this or should I try that? It's when you're healthy that you can think about whatever it is that you want to think about in your business. I know that this is also might be new, or you might have heard it before. But another fundamental principle that I want you to take away tonight. In fact, I'll be sharing 8 fundamental principles for tonight. And principle number 1, which I want you to take down, is that you need to eat variety of different food. You need variety of different food. Research has proven that when you eat variety of different foods, everything goes to do different works in your body. But some people would rather say it's a myth. Some people will say, oh, it's good to eat vegetables. It's good to, I mean, there's been times when I also go to see the doctor and they say, oh, eat lots of vegetables. But everything can be in excess. Yes, everything can be in excess. If we don't, give it the right, what's the word now? If you don't give it the right, if you don't do it in moderation, yeah, everything has to be done moderately, no matter what you're doing, right? But number one principle, hey, hi, sis. Good evening. Okay, good to have you here. Principle number one is to eat variety of different food. I want you to pen that down, because the more that you have different food in your plate, you don't feel bored. Imagine if you have to eat the same thing over and over again. It gets boring. Yeah, I know that. Or you can get tired of it. But you need to eat variety of different food. There is no rule that says vegetables alone, right? We'll get into the part of it where we'll be sharing some more details about how you can, mix up this food. Now let's look at principle number two. Very important. Principle number two is to eat fruits and vegetables every day. So that's principle number two. We want to eat fruits and vegetables every day. If you've not been doing that, it's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call for you to start incorporating that into your food every day. Every day, maybe during your lunchtime, during your breakfast, whichever one you want to incorporate it, whether as dinner, whichever way you want to incorporate it. There was a time I was on a meal plan journey, and I remember that I was on a smoothie only journey for about 3 days, and I felt like I was going to die. I felt like I was losing oxygen. I felt like, oh, the world was going to crumble because it was tough. And sometimes we push ourselves so much sometimes. Whereas when we don't even do some of these things that we do, we still get the result that we want. So there are so many ways to get your results. But I can tell you tonight that once you begin to introduce healthy fruits and vegetables into your daily intake of food or daily meal, you begin to see some sort of difference as well. The third principle from tonight will be to eat legumes every day. I don't know if you know what legumes are. Those are, of course, like our nuts, our beans. You want to incorporate that into your food every day. And it's not even every day, every meal. I'm going to come to that now in a moment. How we need to start combining our food. Please, I want, if you've taken down the principles, I've shared 3 principles so far. Put them in the chat box. Number 1, number 2, number 3. I want to be sure that you're on with me as I go ahead. So the next principle would be to use sugar and fat in little quantity. So your sugar is your general carbohydrates, there's complex sugar, there is simple sugar, but anything carbohydrates, the rice, the yam, all your staple foods. Now, many of them are, they are complex carbohydrates. That's really good when you take complex carbohydrates. So don't let me get you confused now. I'll get to that in a moment. But the next principle, which is principle number 4, if I'm right, please put a number 4 in the chat box. Let me know that I'm right with my numbering. Principle number 4, use little sugar and fat. That's what I have said. And that means that reduce your carb, your simple sugar intake. And principle number 5 will be that include staple foods in all of your meal. Include staple foods in all of your meal. Right? Every of your meal, whether breakfast, include a staple food. Staple foods are foods like rice, spaghetti, yam, beans. When we started mastering the 7 days habits, when we started mastering it in the beginning of the month of April, somebody said in the chat box in our community, if you're a member of a community now, you'd have seen that in the chat box. Somebody said that this food that you put together for us, I can't find my swallow in it, because the person, I guess, he likes to take swallow. And I responded to say that, if I find another thing that looks like what will fit his own meal plan, I was going to share. However, I couldn't share that day, but thank God. I don't know if proverbially, if you're on the chat tonight, if you're in the room tonight, I think you'll be hearing me, because this will serve as an answer to your question. You said you like swallow. Yes, your swallow is really good, but at the right time. We'll get into that also in a moment. So principle number 6 is going to be for you to eat animal and dairy products. Animal products, of course, that's our protein, our fish, our beef, our eggs, our turkey, our chicken. Those are our animal proteins. We want to include that into our diet as much as possible. Yes, we might have been doing that. It's a conscious and a wake up call to always ensure that we mix this up in every of our meal. Morning, afternoon, night. I bought a meal plan before where they said, oh, smoothie in the morning, some sort of food in the afternoon, and again smoothie at night. If that's not the route you want to take, if you still want to enjoy all of your food, yes, you can enjoy the foods that you like every day and every time, but in the right proportion. We'll get to that in a moment as well. The sixth principle will be to eat the right amount. Now, listen to this. I want you to listen to this. I want you to note this down. The sixth principle will be to eat the right amount, eat at the right time, and eat your food rightly prepared. Now, eating the right amount of food, that has to be with your calorie counting. You might need a food coach or a nutritionist for this, and I want to encourage you to indeed go for that. If you want to hire a coach to help you, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm a growth coach. I work with you on your personal habits, on your self-awareness. What do you need to change? What can you master? And how can you start mastering that? Because many times we don't see our blind spots. We don't know that in small little details that we change, we can get, massive results. We're always thinking that, the answers are in very big actions, whereas the answers are just in, very little tiny details that we might not be focusing on. So what am I saying in essence is that you might get a coach. You might want to get a coach that walks you through healthy eating, or get a nutritionist that can help you with a meal plan according to who you are, your body type. I'll speak about body type also in a moment. So I'm saying eat the right amount of food, and eat at the right time, and eat with the right preparation, preparing the food rightly. As you know, there are a lot of evolving issues around diseases and health issues out there. A lot of very funny diseases that you hear these days, cancer and all that is getting common. I pray it doesn't come to us. I've lost someone today due to cancer. And one of the things that that I keep remembering is that there is no how much we can really be careful. Whatever will happen, will happen. We're all going to die someday, isn't it? But at least we can take care of ourselves while we are here and do the necessary things. So even if anything wants to happen, chances are it doesn't get really bad, because everything indeed is an investment. Trust me, whatever it is we do in life, whether it's our eating habit, our drinking habit, the way we mingle with people, the way we nurture ourselves, the way we are spiritually centered, whatever it is that we are doing, it's an investment. It's going to count. Every little habit is going to count. So I want to be, see everything you do, every action you take as an investment. That will indeed drive you to take the right actions more, to take more positive actions for yourself. I want to put positive in the chat box if you can hear me, or write positive in the chat box, just to know that you're still here and you can hear me. So back to principle number 7, which I was talking about, eating right amount. So you want to hire a coach for calorie counting, just to know that, I have not exceeded my calories for today. Maybe your first meal of the day was in the afternoon, was your lunchtime. And you've been told, I should eat once a day, or I should eat twice a day, right? Thank you. Someone's put that in the chat box. Thank you for sharing that. I should eat twice a day, or I should eat once a day. Whether you eat once a day, or twice a day, or 10 times a day, so far you're still within your calorie counting. You are still very fine, because everyone has a calorie counting for the day. And now you can really know your calorie counting. You need to speak to someone, like I said, you need to speak to an expert about that. They'll tell you your BMI, that's your body mass index, according to your weight, your height. When they tell you all of these things, they'll tell you how much of calorie you need per day to be normal weighted, because obesity is one of the other things that is common out there now. People are obese. You might not look it. For me, what if I tell you I'm obese? Not obese, I'm overweight. I'm not obese right now, but I'm a bit overweight. I promise you I'm a bit over. My normal weight is meant to be at 78, but right now I'm a bit closer to 80 kg. Thanks to the fasting that we've just concluded. I'm a Muslim and I fast. It helps me to lose some weight a bit. But I realized that since starting my coaching business the past few years now, I've struggled now to lose weight like I usually do, easily. Right, like I easily did before. I would lose weight easily, but because I'm seated and I'm coaching people on the spot, and I'm not able to move within sessions, it then means that I'm confined to my seat for quite a number of hours, which then means that I'm not able to burn enough fat. So if you work similarly like myself and you don't have so much mobility, you're sedentary in your space, in your workspace, then you need a conscious effort of burning this fat. And one of the ways you can do that is watching your diet and exercising. So what I have done is I've incorporated the gym into my routine the past few months now. I started to do that and I can see the results, right? Another thing is, don't be clear about your intention. Be clear about your intention. Why are you doing what you're doing? Be really clear about that. Whether you want to lose weight, because I mean, some people set health goals and say, "Oh, I'd like to lose weight." For what reason? Right? Be clear on the reasons you want to lose weight. Do you want to lose weight and be underweighted? Do you want to lose weight and become normal weighted? Be clear about your goals that you set about that. Okay, so we're still talking about eating right, the right amount of food. So like I said, maybe you can be lucky to even find some calorie counter online. If you, maybe after the masterclass, jot that down as a call to action. Calorie counter will help you know how much calorie you need. You might find, the internet is really big now, and you can find some very free apps that would help you to count your calories, that will tell you how much calorie you need to take a day. Please don't let's leave all these things to last minute when we are sick or when something is happening before we start taking things seriously. Don't let's wait till that minute. Don't let's wait till that minute. Let's start taking actions now. Everything is an investment. It's going onto the positive side of the ledger or the negative side of the ledger. So please don't let's wait till that moment. I said eat the right amount of food, eat at the right time. Eat at the right time. The best time to have our last meal of the day is 3 hours to bedtime. I know that sometimes you want to make these mistakes. Yes, but notice, be aware of when you're doing such and try to start promising yourself. Tell yourself this body deserves better. This body deserves more. Remind yourself. And I promise you, gradually, the more you say these things to yourself, it saves in your subconscious mind. And once things are said in our subconscious mind, what happens is your body automatically responds to that is saved in your subconscious mind. So for instance, if you've saved in your subconscious mind and you've said to yourself that, this body should be treated rightly, I shouldn't feed it with junks, I should feed it with something healthy that will serve my body, serve my mind, serve my soul. If you keep thinking about that, reflecting on that, chances are when you want to go into the fridge and grab a bowl of ice cream or grab a bowl of whatever it is that is unhealthy, when you want to do that, chances are you will remember. There's an automation that spikes and you just get remembered that no, I shouldn't be eating this. And if you can give yourself an extra push by saying no, this is not for me, speak it out. Words can create the world. Words can break the world. Right? So you can use your words to create your world. You can speak that and say, no, I'm not going to have this. My body deserves better. No, I'm going to nurture my body. I'm not going to have this ice cream. No, maybe not now. Maybe later. You can also practice some delayed gratification that, if it's on Sunday, I would do some treats. I'll have some treats time and I can have my dessert. And there is nothing stopping us from even having dessert. But again, at the right time. Right, so I said about eating the right amount of food, eating at the right time. And the third one is preparations. The preparations from the way that we, source our food from the store or the grocery. Please let me give you a simple line that has helped me and has helped many of the clients that I have personally coached, which I also want to, share with you so that I can impact you, is that if it's not good for you, don't lift it from the shelf. Leave it on the shelf. So if you go to the stores, the shops, and you want to go shop your food items, if the food is not healthy, don't bother taking it home. Don't bother shopping it. Don't bother trying to grab a pack of biscuit because it's not good for you anyways. Because the moment you take it home and say, maybe I'll have it once a week or chances are you might end up eating it every day. Right? You might end up enjoying it and you want to buy more and you want to do more. So if it's not right for you, leave it on the shelf. Don't take it home, please. All right. So that's one of the things that I want you. That's one of the lines that I want to leave you tonight. Please put in the chat box. I want to know that you're still following. If it's not right for me, I'm leaving it on the shelf. I want to see that in the chat box. Please let me read that from you. If it's not right for me, I'm leaving it on the shelf. If it's not right for me, I am leaving it on the shelf. I want to see that. I want to read that from us. Please put that in the chat box. I'd like to to read that from us. Still talking about the right preparations. Vegetables. We should talk a lot about vegetables. For us, for many people who cook, you overcook your vegetables, that all the nutrients are gone away. They are, there's something called plasmolysis in science. So there's something called what's the word now? Okay, so you've overcooked your vegetables. All the nutrients are washed down, even from the washing of the vegetables. There should be ways in which we wash our vegetables and our fruits. Research has shown now that farmers out there, they do quite a number of things to grow their food, to farm their food produce. And some of those things they use to grow the food, some of them are GMO, genetically modified products, what's it called, organisms, to grow the food so that they can make profits. But those things are not healthy for our body. Even the pesticides that they spray on the food so that the food doesn't get spoiled or they don't get attacked by pests. Even many of the pesticides have chemical contents that are cancerous, that are carcinogenic, that can cause cancer, that can cause health issues. I'm not here to scare us. I'm here to wake us up so that we can prepare our foods rightly. So research is changing. Things are changing every time, and we need to make sure that we are updated to evolving issues so that we can take the right actions. And we are not living in the 70s, preparing our foods as they did in the 70s. This is a new generation where we're open to information. So let's make use and make do with those information that are right in front of us right now. Right, so I said the right preparations, even from washing your fruits and vegetables. Apple cider vinegar with some bicarbonate of soda is really good to wash our fruits and vegetables, because the pesticides, some of them permeate into the fruits. For instance, strawberries, grapes, they are soft-shelled food. They are soft-shelled food, which means their skin is really soft, and they can hold in pesticides. They can hold in these chemical substances that are not good for the body. This has been sprayed on the food right from the farm. So when they clean it and they package it and they sell it in stores, and you buy that, you take that home, you also want to take an extra effort to clean with apple cider vinegar. If you don't have apple cider, you can try warm water and a bit of salt. That's a mini way of washing. But if you really want to go thorough, because some of these microorganisms, some of these chemicals don't get broken down with normal salts. To break some of these things down, you need a potent chemical like apple cider vinegar, and potent ones like bicarbonate of soda to help you remove all the debris, remove all the some of the things, the chemical substances that you don't see that are harmful to the body. And now you've washed your vegetables, you've washed your fruits, whatever it is, you've washed your lettuce, you've washed your cucumber, because I'm just mentioning all of these fruits that are easily, that can easily withhold these pesticides. And I want us to be, what we should watch out for that. Right, so when you wash your fruits well and then you eat it, you'll have this rest of mind that you're eating healthy. Right, one of the things we want to also consider: the right preparations. Don't overcook your vegetables. The right preparation, don't use. Well, thank you for sharing that. If it's not right for me, I'm definitely leaving it on the shelf. Like, thank you for sharing that with us, Falake. I think the responses are coming in quite late. I don't know why that is. Maybe because we're using a free version of YouTube. I don't know. Maybe that's why. Okay, so still on the preparation of our food. Another thing that came to mind is that your items that you use in preparing your food, your storages, be watchful of that. Your fresh food should not be stored with your cooked food. If you're able to set that aside, if you have a small little fridge, you can make sure that you put the food in a airtight container before storing it in the fridge. So that there's something that's called tainting, Tainting, tainting. The smell from your fresh food can taint the food that is already cooked, and that's not good for our health. It's not good for our health. So we really want to look out for how we store our food, how we bring them from store, the storage, the preparation, the handling. We need to be careful. Be careful as much as watching the knives that you even use to prepare your food. The knives that you just used to cut your fresh fish or fresh meat or beef or chicken, you shouldn't place that same knife on your fresh food, like on your ready to eat food, like fruits and apple, for instance. You shouldn't. Even though if you've washed the knife with water alone is not enough to wash off the Now, normal flora, the normal microorganisms that comes with these fresh foods, like our meat, our fish, they have their normal microorganisms in them, which might be healthy as they are. Yeah, some of the, for instance, if you take yogurt now, yogurt has microorganisms because indeed they've used microorganisms to ferment the yogurt. So for you people who are not science inclined, microorganisms are these little organisms that we cannot see, but they are there. We can't see with our naked eyes. They're there performing their function, whether to harm or to be useful, because they are useful microorganisms. They are useful bacteria that helps with our body system as well. Right, you must be thinking, where are we now? We are on principle number 7. That's the last principle. Keep it fresh. Keep your food fresh. Keep it fresh. Keep it fresh. Keep it fresh. Try as much as possible if you can. Try as much as possible if you can to keep it fresh. Don't overstore your fridge with food. Remember, everything is an investment. I come from a place where I come from a state of mind where, I said, let me cook it so that I can have it for quite a number of times. I come from that state of mind myself. But I've had to revisit a lot of things. So I'm inviting you to also do that in your personal space, in your eating habits. Revisit the things that needs changing. So the last principle, keep it fresh, keep it fresh, keep it fresh. That's the last principle, as fresh as possible. So if you're able to buy food that can last you a few days, especially fresh foods, yes, do buy it. You might be thinking, it's stressful for me to go to the store and buy a bottle of yogurt, or it's stressful for me to buy my stir fry every other day. Please think about your health. Please think about the investment. Think about where these things are going. Think about how your body needs fresh. Think about it. In the olden days, where there was no fresh food, where there was no refrigerator or how to store food or whatever, many of those times people do fresh foods. They cook almost every day. Otherwise, they would warm. My dad come from a background where he told me stories of how they preserve their food back then. They would warm their soup for quite a number of days. We're not in that era again. We're not in the era where we cannot afford to store our food the right way. Of course, maybe some places, I come from Nigeria, where I know that the system can be very frustrating. I know that. But as much as we can, whatever it is we can control, because I know some things we cannot control them. Whatever it is we can control, please let's try and do that in our spaces, in our personal space. And that's why we need to work smart and make some money so that we can begin to live the life that we want to live. Right? Have some fresh food, enjoy freshness. We deserve it. We deserve it. If this is the only thing that we're taking home tonight, we deserve to eat fresh food, right? Please, I want you to put in the chat box, keep it fresh. Keep it fresh. I want to read that in the chat box, right? I want to read that in the chat box. So let's have a recap of the principles that I have shared earlier. Number 1 is to eat variety of different food. Remember, eat variety of different food. Don't listen to people who say, just keep it vegetable alone. I've said that as well before. You can eat a variety of different food at the right proportion, right? Include staple food in every meal of the day. Every meal must have a staple food. Maybe your wheat, your oats, those are fiber foods and they are full, all meal foods that are good for you. Bread, brown bread is good in the right proportion now. It's really good. Rice, spaghetti, pasta is good as well in the right proportion, right? Number 3 is to eat vegetables and fruits every day as much as we can. There's some very nice fruits that are, that you'll enjoy. It all depends on what you enjoy, Watermelon. Watermelon is really nice. For me, I like it. Cucumbers. My best fruit at the moment now is pear. I love the succulency. I love it. And some of these fruits also have their sugar in them. So don't overeat anything. Like I said, don't overconsume anything. Everything in the right proportion. The 4th principle will be to eat legumes every day. Please include legumes in your food every day. The 5th principle will be to use little sugar and fats. Little sugar and fats. If there's any food that is fatty, like for instance, the fleshy part of the chicken thighs are really fatty, you might want to stay away from that and keep to more chicken breast, chicken fillet than the chicken thigh. right? When you're choosing your meat, your beef, you might decide, you make a conscious effort to decide not to eat the part that has high cholesterol or high fat. If you're from Nigeria, from where I've come from, suya is very popular and very sweet and very nice. And some people would even say they call it tozo. Tozo is like fatty, fleshy meat. Please do away from those food. Atherosclerosis, heart disorders, they are very, common. They're getting common these days, and it's from what we're eating, right? And one thing leads to another. The fifth one that I said to do is, I've said the fifth one is to eat sugar and fats in less proportion. The sixth one is to eat animal and dairy products. You want to eat animal and dairy products daily. Your meat, your beef in the right proportion, the right one in the right proportion. The chicken, the milk, dairy products, yogurt, healthy yogurt. Yogurt is good for gut health. And once your gut is good, your digestion will be good as well. Right? Once you have great gut health, your digestion will be good as well. Your metabolic rate will be great as well. Right? The seventh one is to eat right amount and eat at the right time and the right preparations. And the eighth one will be to keep it fresh and keep it fresh and keep it fresh. That's a recap of everything that we have spoken about. Now, there's something called the Eat Well plates. When you have a plate of your food, so I'm going to use this book as an example. Say this is a plate of your food, right? The Eat Well plate means that half the part of your book like this, when you have it, should have more of the vegetables. Now, the remaining half should have other food. That's the argument that I got into recently, right? And when I looked at it, vegetables are, like I said, all food varieties are important, but in the right amount. So I would say to eat vegetables halfway. But these days we're beginning to see that people are lacking in some sort of food that they need to increase on, and that's why I say you might need to speak to your coach or your nutritionist about that, because you might want to decrease the quantity of your vegetable. I'll tell you what, recently, or not so long ago anyway, my dad and I were at the clinic for his medical checkup, and they said to him, you eat too much vegetable, so you have too much vitamin. They mentioned the vitamin, I can't remember now, vitamin B something, can't remember, but they mentioned that the vitamin from too much vegetable, and the doctor said to him, slow down a little bit on your vegetable. And I'm like, oh really? I thought it couldn't be too much, but really it could be too much. So the new thing is, if this is your plate, a little before half, not completely up to half. I wish I was sharing on Zoom now, but I wanted to leave this live YouTube video here so that you can come back and catch up with it in case you need to do that, right? So this is your plate of food now. Your vegetable would almost be half, but not half. As you can see how my hand is coming slanted. Oh, what am I doing now? Slanted. Oh, what am I? Mirror image. So I'm getting confused from the mirror image. So it's coming like that. My coordination, God help me. It's going like that, right? It's coming from the middle, but not really half. Shall I talk to you in percentage? I think that would be clear. I've not done this mathematics before now, but I would say vegetables on your plate of food should be around less than 70%, almost close to 70%. Right, more of that, and then let's say 60-something% would be good. And I'll share that in the community. If you're a member of the community, lucky you get that. 70-something, less than 70%, maybe between 60 and 65% would be good for your vegetables. Then after that, you want your protein to be next in line. Then after that, your fat. And when I'm talking about, your dairy and your yogurt and all that can be used as dessert. When you want to eat dessert, it's better for you to eat dessert with your main meal, not to go and carry your yogurt and whatever when you've eaten like 2 hours before. No, eat it together with your main meal, and that will really help everything digest together, and it will not store as fat. right? So the eat well plate is really important in the way that we are preparing our food. So every of your food, say for instance, you want to have your rice, you like rice in a small proportion. Vegetable, make the vegetable much. And your protein, make it also much. And then so you have on the plate, you have the small that bit of rice, you have your vegetable, you have your protein. And maybe you can make a small smoothie shake, green smoothie shake or whatever, green smoothie drink or whatever. That would be nice. Or your dessert can be a piece of banana cake or carrot cake, a bit of quantity, and you eat it together with your meal. And you don't have to eat that dessert for morning, afternoon, and night. Please watch it. You might decide to say dessert just once a day, or maybe weekends. Treats are allowed. Remember, I said something like visit your nutritionist to help you curate a personalized meal plan that will really help you on the journey. Right? Drum rolls. I want to share something really important right now. Of course, everything we've been discussing is also very important, but I just want to share the benefits of healthy eating, especially the impact, especially for us entrepreneurs. There are three main things that I've written down. First of all, food means hormones. Our food. When I mean food means hormones, I don't mean literally. I mean that the food that we eat determines the hormones that we're going to be producing. Dominant state of hormones, the most dominant hormones that we're going to be producing will be from the kind of foods that we eat. So I want you to think about, what food am I eating? And what hormones am I producing? There's an hormone called serotonin. That hormone helps us to sleep well. It helps us to have good digestion. That hormone helps us to have mental clarity and great mood. That hormone helps us to, not feel so much pain in our body. Whether mental pain, because sometimes you're going through a lot and you feel like, oh, this is so frustrating. I don't like this condition. I don't like the situation. That's some sort of mental pain as well, right? So serotonin is a very great hormone that helps us improve our sleep, improves our digestion, improves our mood, and of course, it reduces pain in our body. And this serotonin can only be produced when you eat the right food. Of course, research also shows that when you exercise, serotonin can be produced or is produced. But when you eat good food, you produce great serotonin. You produce just good enough quantity of serotonin, and it can aid all of this work, all of these functions in your body. And it improves your mental clarity, how you're thinking, how you're calm. Yeah, that's the word. Because entrepreneurs, we're just so busy thinking about payrolls and thinking about the next client and the next content that we want to create and the next invoice that you want to create. And then, this and that, a lot of things comes to our mind, and we can get stressed easily, right? Another thing is our energy. It helps us boost our energy when we eat the right food. The mood changes. I mean, when you start with a good food in the morning, you have a good sense of concentration. Imagine if you don't eat for hours and hours and you're doing so much work on your desk. You feel tired, isn't it? So yeah, food, I mean, the basic source of from the basic function of food might sound to us like energy, yes. But energy again in terms of mood, our mood. I'm sure you heard people going through mood disorder, which means this moment they're happy, next minute they're sad. It's a roller coaster of emotions for them, and they just don't want to talk to anybody, and they're withdrawn, and they're this and they're that. It's a disorder. Some people have that disorder, right? So if you don't have it, congratulations. But the way to maintain yourself, great mood, is of course to watch the food that we're eating. The third benefit, the third impact will be our focus, our concentration, our productivity. If you eat the right food, you'll be productive. You would concentrate more on whatever it is that you're doing. What about stress management? There are three things I want to talk about stress management. Stress is different from anxiety. Anxiety is different from general anxiety disorder, but they are all linked. If you have too much work before you going on in your workspace, in your business space or whatever, and you're getting stressed, gradually we're getting stressed, you might just not see it. How are you distressing? One of the ways you can distress is to be kind to yourself. We talk about self-care, we talk about self-love. Be kind to yourself to feed your body the right things, the right food. I want you to put self-care, self-love in the chat. Let me be sure that we're still here together. Put self-love, self-care, put it in the chat box. I'd like to know that we're still together. Self-love, self-care. Put that in the chat box. I'd like to read that from us. So I was talking about stress, anxiety, and anxiety disorder. Now, stress is building up as we're working. But the way to release the stress is the kind of food we eat and the kind of exercise that we engage in every time. Right? And stress is different from anxiety because anxiety now is fear. Anxiety means fear. Like you're scared, you're anxious, you're worried about what's to come. It's about thinking into the future. That's what anxiety is. But anxiety disorder now means that you cannot stop thinking about worrisome thoughts, fearful thoughts. Can you see the difference now? So it's quite different. When you have a disorder with your anxiety, it means you can really not calm your anxiety. Your body is in constant flight mode, always wanting to fight, always scared of everything, always worried of everything, always overthinking. That's general anxiety disorder. I mean, I've passed through that before, and I can, talk about that. Right. So I want you to keep thinking about this thing, reflect about this thing, on these things. And the more you can reflect on them, the more that you can begin to take the right actions on the food choices that you're going to be making. Another important information for tonight is to know your body type so that you can choose the right food that your husband or your brother in the same family, in the same household, loves to eat rice, and you just always want to join them to eat rice. No, you can decide not to eat it with them. Because, for instance, their body type might be maybe thyroid body type. Yours might be adrenal body type, which means your body doesn't want sugar. It doesn't want sugar at all. It doesn't have threshold for sugar. If you have an adrenal body type, it means that with every little sugar, there's a huge adrenaline rush in your body with every little sugar that you consume. That's why you want to know your body type, whether you're a liver body type, overall body type, whether you're thyroid or whether you're adrenal body type. You can take a body type quiz, a body type test online to know your body type. And once you know your body type, you will be able to know what food you need to feed that body. You see, everything's about awareness. The moment you know that, I should stay away from this type of food, it's not good for my body, you stay away from that kind of food, right? A case study is myself, like I've said before. I had general anxiety disorder before, and since I've realized that sugar isn't good for me, I've cut down on so much sugar. And there are some things I usually feel before: tingling of the eye, trembling of the mind. All of those things have gone. I don't hear about. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't disturb me again like it used to. My leg will feel so heavy. My feet will be swollen sometimes. All of that has stopped. All of that doesn't happen again. Despite the fact that I sit on my desk working hours and hours on a spot, it really doesn't happen again. So it all has to do with how we're nurturing and taking care of the body. So note whatever it is that you are seeing in your body and take action. Right? Don't be scared to take action. Take action in baby steps, right? Okay, personalized meal plan is the next thing I want to talk about. If you have a meal plan that you're using, put a yes in the chat box. No, put meal plan in the chat box. If you already have a meal plan that you're using, I want to say in the chat box, please put meal plan in the chat box. If you have a meal plan that you're using, please put in the chat box meal plan. Do you have a meal plan that you're using? I'm waiting to read that. I'm waiting to read that from us. Because you need this meal plan, you need it to help you to become a peak performer. When you eat the right food, when you feed the body with the right things, you gain mental clarity, you're calm, you're highly productive, you perform well, your decision making is improved, and then you can sustain your business. Yeah, when you don't feel too tired, you don't feel grudgy or sluggish, you can quickly make decisions, you are agile, you look ageless, your skin is great, your body is beautiful, when you eat right, and it supports your business growth when you do that. So, we are coming to the end of the masterclass, but I want to share some tips with you before you go. One of the big tips is your last meal of the day, take it 3 hours to your bedtime. Secondly, stay hydrated throughout the day. Stay hydrated throughout the day. Drink enough water. I think it was the first month. Was it January now? February? It should be January. We mastered drinking. No, it was January. In the community, we mastered waking up to a glass of water. As you get up from bed, you have your water by your bedside. As you get up from bed in the morning, you have your water by your bedside, at least a bottle of water or a full glass of water. I use a bottle of water because it's locked, it's closed, and it doesn't, pour away. Whatever it is you want to use, nicely covered and nicely placed in a corner of your room or by your bedside. And once you get out of bed, that's the first thing you're doing as you're in gratitude for waking up into the new day. Drink water and drink water. And apart from that, stay hydrated means like you take about 2 to 3 liters of water daily. And that challenge that we did in January really inspired me to pick up a bottle of water just to track my water, my daily water intake. I bought that bottle, 2 liters bottle that month, and I've enjoyed using it. Do I have it here? No, I don't. So I would encourage you to also stay hydrated. First one is, of course, to have your last meal of the day 3 hours before bedtime. Second is stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Drink enough water during the day. The third one is to choose. You can choose a snack a day, because I know we want a snack, but choose healthy snack, right? There are healthy snack options, like replacing your ice cream. Replace it with yogurts. Replace your very, very sweet biscuits. Replace it with cracker or oatmeal biscuits. Maybe 1 or 2 slices with your cheese or your nuts. And talking about nuts, some nuts are also fatty. Know the nuts that are good for you. I'm still saying this, that you should get a nutritionist. If you need a nutritionist, if you need a meal plan and you need somebody, please visit Ask Dams. I've used that for a couple of times, even for my parents, and a meal plan has worked for me over and over. Even the one that I bought years ago is still working for me today. So Ask Dams, you can visit that. If you want to, if you don't know the spelling, or you want me to give you a referral link, please contact me. You already know my email address is always on the website. Connect@ibettermecoaching.com. It's been displayed on the what's it called on the screen earlier, but it's also in our. It's also in our community. Connect@ibettermecoaching.com. That's my email address. But the website is www.ibettermecoaching.com. So 3 tips I've given you tonight is to eat your last food of the day 3 hours to your bedtime, and to stay hydrated daily. These are habits. These are routines. These are habits that you want to put in your daily routines. And the third one is to choose a snack a day. You can choose a snack a day, but healthy snack, so that you don't feel like you're losing out on anything, and you can easily enjoy these meal plans and don't feel like, oh, they are boring because of this and that. They still include some of the foods that you really like, but the right proportion, isn't it? So thank you for coming to the masterclass. I want to read your highlights. What's your highlight for tonight? What is your highlight for tonight? I want to read your highlights. Please let me hear it. What's your highlight for tonight? What is your highlight for tonight? Also, if you have any question, put it in the chat box right and now, as we're bringing the session to a close. But I'm super excited that you joined the masterclass tonight. Listen, May is just around the corner. The month of May is in a few hours, and I hope that this month of May you're able to show up and shut out distractions, and everything that you've mastered or you've been mastering the month of April, you carry that on into May. It's not meant to go away with April. It's meant to be carried on as a lifestyle. Right? It's meant to be carried on as a lifestyle. So don't forget to don't forget to carry on that as a habit, as a lifestyle, right? So any question, please put that in the chat box. I like to hear your comments. I like to hear, oh my God, any question. I like to see, I like to read that. Thank you everyone for joining. I've had an amazing time here. I've had an amazing time here tonight. I hope you've had an amazing time as well. Please put in the chat box, If you have any question, I'm more than happy to answer your questions. I see that some of you have even enjoying the weekly newsletter. I've seen responses from a couple of people, a number of people, and even some people are saying, come and teach in my community. Yes, I'm more than happy to teach in your community. Send me an email and let's have a chat, or maybe book a call with me with the strategy link on our website. Let's get talking and let's come and teach in your community. I would love to do that. Someone said my highlight is what I don't need for my body. Should not, yeah, it shouldn't leave the shelf. I like that. Please hold on to that. If you don't need it, don't take it away from the shelf. Leave it on the shelf if you don't need it. I can't see any question, and as it is already 9 p.m., I say a very big thank you to everyone who has attended the masterclass tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've enjoyed it, please could you kindly leave a review in the WhatsApp community, right? A review of what you've learned, or a review of what people missed that they should take away. Could you please kindly mention in the WhatsApp community, just to encourage a few more other people to join us on the next masterclasses that we will be having, so that they can come into the room and also learn and be a better person on the journey of becoming more and becoming a better person. Thank you so much. FFS, thanks for the session. CK, thank you, it was enriching. Thank you so much for coming, for hanging out here with us. And I do wish you a wonderful month of May. Everyone, in fact, thank you so much, everyone who has joined. I wish you a successful month of May. Show up, do the work that needs doing, and you will see the results. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.